Hi everyone, this is Gaurav Srivastav. I work with Regalix as an Associate Director, Global Operations. I take care of the digital services all across creating stories, distributing them, measuring them, plugging it back into the campaigns. The topic that we have for today is how to explain complex products. And while we would understand the definition of the complex products, how do we communicate, what should be the strategy of communicating, all of that. Um, just wanted to start with a very simple quote. Ironically, the most complicated theory comes from this guy, but he says if you can't explain it simply, you don't understand it well enough. So, on that note, just moving forward with the presentation. Now, very important to understand that what are simple products versus complex products. Anything on cloud looks like a complex product, because it's intangible. When we say store on cloud, it gets stored on the cloud. You don't know where the cloud is. I mean, not in the literal sense, but yeah, it's like something which is not in front of your eyes, and you don't know where exactly it is going. So complex products are the products which are not common, which are not for day-to-day use. I mean, not everyone uses them, might or might not. Simple products, on the other hand, are easy to use. I mean, you use them every day. You know what they are, how they look, how they feel. You can smell them, and it's like in front of your eyes. So these are some of the complex and simple products. The irony is, a lot of simple products want to include complexity in their marketing messaging, while the complex products want to be simple. So just to give you an example, shampoo with ZPTO. I mean, they want to market shampoo with ZPTO in it because, it's different, it's complex, we don't understand. It's a marketing gimmick. Um, Toothpaste with active charcoals. And you're like, wow, do you have charcoal in the toothpaste? You want to make it complex. You don't want to keep it simple. I mean, nobody wants to market their product as it's very simple. It doesn't have anything in it. No. While a lot of these complex products want to include simplicity because they want to put forward their point. Moving to the next slide. There are plethora of marketing and sales challenges in order to communicate a complex product. The most important of them is uh, the complex products are intangible in nature, mostly. Decision makers are non-technical at times. So, for example, I'm selling, a software which is for financial use, and it needs to be adopted by the financial organization of a certain organization. My point there would be, how do I sell it to them, because they do not understand the technicality of the product. What they understand is the features and the benefits. So I need to communicate accordingly as a marketeer. Articulation of features and benefit is again very important. Marketeers, when there are complex or technical complex products, they tend to talk about features and benefits which are very technical in nature. You have to map them back to the use cases. And one of the most important thing is the challenges with messaging. How do you actually put across your point without being too technical in nature is one of the challenges. Now I'll talk about a valid use case over here. Regalix, as an agency, was working with a group called as Wellspun. Wellspun is a $3 billion company. They are into textile, power, and lot more. And we were working with a textile brand of theirs. They wanted to launch, Wellspun wanted to launch a brand in US, and it was primarily, catering to the kids section, wherein they had duvet and rugs, and those were interactive. They were calling it interactive duvets. Why? Because it had an AR interface on it. So it's like they had an app. You go, there are markers on the duvet and rug. The moment you map the markers with the app, you sort of get into a storytelling mode wherein a story automatically starts playing. You feel that the characters are coming alive on the textile. Now, sounds very simple, right? But how do we, how do we position this? Okay. When Regalix started, we thought, okay, it's a textile product because it's at the end of the day, the takeaway is textile. But when we started researching more, we found no, there is a technology, the AR angle to it, augmented reality angle to it. So should it be technology? Not really. Um, when we look at the package, we say, okay, can we call it a toy? Can it go into the toy category? Don't know. Can it be in the toy category or not is something which is debatable. Then, okay, if it is not toy category, can we put it into storytelling kind of category? Not really. So the positioning of this is very, very important. How do you position a product which is very complex? Obviously, there are a lot of challenges. One of them is messaging and communication because you want to know, how exactly you want to position this product. You know, do I want it to call it toys? Do I want to call it storytelling? And if you get a chance, just visit, tilttextiles.com. This is TILT textiles, TEXTILES.com. It's a complex product, but a very interesting one, and it's the other aspect of or other challenge of this product was this was first in the market. So communication becomes all the more important. Persona, interesting thing, which I'll be talking in the next slide. But just to give an overview, who's going to consume it, vis-a-vis who's going to buy it, who's the decision maker, who's the influencer. All of that is very, very important. You need to know, how to map this before you start even articulating your product. For example, in this case, a kid is going to consume it, right? Kids are going to play with the duvet and the app and everything. While the purchase decision is not kids, because kids do not have financial independence of going and buying it for themselves. They can be the influencer, but they are not the end decision maker. The end decision maker in this case would be parents, grandparents, relatives, and a lot of other folks. Now, as I said, since it was a product which was a niche product, brand building was again a very, very important thing. We wanted a brand to come up first, which leads into brand retention and a lot of other things. Then coming to the sales pattern, a very, very important aspect which marketer needs to talk about when complex products are concerned, how the product is going to get consumed. When I say how it is going to get consumed is, when we talk about sales patterns, we talk about is the sale going to be high in holiday season, or is the sale is going to be high in non-holiday seasons, or is it a day-to-day sales kind of product? For example, in this product, one of the angles that we explored on the go was we can position it as a holiday gift kind of product, and we saw a surge in the month of December or November, December, when Thanksgiving and holidays start. Very important from the perspective of because of the objective aspect of it. Because every marketeer wants to, at the end of the day, every marketing effort needs to be converted into sales, and that's the end goal of the organizations. So very important to keep these points in mind. Moving to the next one. Now, here is what I was talking about in the previous slide: persona. This is just a sample. I'm just trying to explain a framework that Regalix created. Obviously, there could be a lot more to it, but just talking about the methodology here. Here in the case of Tilt, what we did, we sort of, we divided the personas into three categories: parents, grandparents, and toy. Why toy unboxers? Very famous. These guys influence. These are the influencers. So there are many more than this. We did not include that. There are mom bloggers. There are other influencers. There are daycares, the big school brands, all of those. But we just kept it to these three: parents, grandparents, toy unboxers. Now, All of these personas will have some needs. All of these guys will have some search behavior. They will have some typical search queries, and they discover their needs on certain device, which can be either mobile, desktop, or tablets. So just going ahead, for example, if I just pick up one of these examples, let's talk about parents, right? Their needs. And here also we did some sub classifications of parents. We talked about tech parents. Then we went further saying this income group, an income group of $150,000 to $300,000 because it's a premium product. And we did certain personality attributions also. These parents will have some needs. Let's say for the time being, it's educative. They're searching for educative, engaging content and products. Uh, then what are those different types of keywords from which they will be searching from? Interactive stories, educative toys for kids, learning-based toys, and so on and so forth. Grandparents, I mean, one of the need that they would be having, they would want to gift something to their grandchildren on Christmas or on Thanksgiving or on some other, festival. So their search behavior is mostly idea and occasion based. So how would they search? They would search best Christmas gift for kids, best story based gifts for kids, and so on and so forth. While on the other hand, an influencer is a money making entity. So for example, mom bloggers also is a money making entity. Or we talk about schools or daycares. Again, the needs would be a potentially popular content, because they want to leverage. It works symbiotically. So they want to leverage on the popular brand or popular content, while the brands also want to leverage the popularity of these toy unboxing channels. So one of the very famous channel, if you would go to the YouTube for kids, is Hobby Kids TV. Now their search behavior is very trend based. They would say, okay, trendy toys for kids, new toys, upcoming toys, popular story based toys, and so on and so forth. Now, as a marketer, it's very important when you are looking at personas to understand where the discoveries are happening. With the advent of smartphones, obviously people are discovering more and more on mobile, and obviously that is what prompted Google also to come up with various algorithms, improve their UI, the search completely on the mobile. So in this case, we found that 63% discoveries were happening on mobile, of these kind of products. People go to, whether you go to Toys R Us or you go to, Disney or wherever, people go from mobile and start buying things. So moving to the next slide. Now, very important to understand, complex stories made simple. How do we make complex stories simple? Very important to understand what kind of content we are talking about. Is the content auto-paced, or we can control the pace of the content, And obviously there's a lot more into it, but today we'll be talking about walkthroughs, infographics, calculators, and animated videos. Calculators is straightforward, So for example, if I have for example, a technology-based product, so I say that it decreases, or it sort of optimizes the run-in time, or it optimizes my storage or something. I would want to bring out the value, to my clients or potential clients about what it offers. So I might start with a small calculator saying, hey, why don't you, calibrate your needs? Why don't you put what is your organization size? What are your requirements? And basis that I will do I will give you some recommendation. So it is sort of a need-based discovery, and very important these days. People are trying to come up with these kind of calculators. So just going back to my previous example, let's say I am a CFO of a certain organization. Though as a CFO I might not do this, but let's say for example I do not know the technicality of a particular product, but I know what my needs are. If I'm a good CFO, I would definitely know what my needs are. I would start, putting all those needs in the calculator, And at the end, I will get some recommendation basis what my needs are. So that is called as need-based discovery. While walkthroughs are very popular these days, a complex product requires a very simple layout, which tells you step by step how to install, run, uninstall, upgrade. If you want to have a plugin, all of those comes through walkthroughs. Infographics more or less remain very popular throughout. People are coming up with new kind of infographic these days. There are interactive infographic because let's take this. Complex products at times can become boring. So how do you include that element of interactivity wherein users starts interacting with you and they are engrossed and they go to the right sections and get the information also. And the all-time favorite, the animated videos. So animated videos, mostly in a very complex space, they are mostly the how-to videos. How do you explain? So they are called as explainer videos. How do you explain your product? The problem with this kind of content, the complex product associated with complex product is how do you make the language simple yet you keep the technicality intact? Because if you take the technicality completely out, it will become a very generic video, and I'll be talking about it step by step. Let me move to the next slide. Going to the next one. So now these are some of the videos that Regalix has done. So I'll talk about it in detail. But just to give you an overview, videos can be multiple types, right? So what kind of content you require? So for example, you are selling a complex product, right? You need to understand which kind of audience you are going to present your content to. So for example, I'm going to an event, right? I want to glorify, I want to talk about my my product and services, where thousands of people or hundreds of people are attending the conference. They are coming from different backgrounds. So I need to sort of be away from the technicality. So I might create a video like this, wherein the product is narrating its own story. I mean, there could be different narration ways, and this particular video talks about the evolution of a product. So I've just included a 15-second snippet of this. While the link, once the PPTs will be shared with you, we can share the entire link. But the idea over here is, without being technical, being at the top level, I still talk about the product. I brand the product. Okay. While on the other hand, when I'm talking about a use case based video or an explainer video, I'm talking about how my video best explains my product. Now, there could be number of ways around this, but the most popular is the character animation these days. So you let human beings identify from the point of emotional connect. So for example, I am an IT guy, I'm an IT admin, and I face certain set of problems. When I see those certain set of problems in a video or in a some sort of illustration, I would be able to relate with it, because that is what exactly I'm going through day on day. So in this video, there is a protagonist, who talks about the entire, the IT infrastructure and how exactly it can improve. So these guys, these guys would talk about how the product is used, how exactly it can be consumed, how to install, what are the problems, features and benefits, and many more. So this is again one of the videos that we at Regalix did. Moving to the next one. Yeah, infographic. So there are a lot of variations of infographics that are coming, in this industry, and obviously there's no standardization as such, but you need to understand, what exactly do you want to convey. So for example, I'll take a case over here. On your left hand side, you see a Dell Minfographic. That's a different term, mini infographic. These are bite-sized content, So one of the campaigns that Regalix did for Dell is Dell Future Ready Content. So Dell with IDC did a did a research on future-ready infrastructure, and they wanted to market that entire study on their social media, on their website, all of that. So we realized that obviously there were other things also that we did apart from this infographic. We did a lot of articles, we did a lot of consumable bites, we did banners, posters. Um, and we realized that people would want to consume. They just want to understand what are those metrics that are going to make them future ready, right? So for example, if you look over here, 31.6% measure utilization rates periodically. So we wanted to highlight this, and that is where came the concept of infographics, mini infographics, which are consumable. On the other hand, there is an interesting concept of interactive infographic. So on your right hand side of the screen, you would see a NetApp infographic. Now the product is complex, right? NetApp product, all the cloud-based products are complex. And if I just take you through this, it is a scroll-based infographic. So you keep on scrolling, something will happen. You just go. There would some stats that will pop up, but if you look at this infographic, this is beer, right? So the idea here was, how do we contextualize, how do we make it informative yet interesting? While you can be completely technical also over here, but it's the choice that you have to make as the product marketing person, that how exactly you want to position your product. You want it to sound cool, you want it to sound technical, depending upon who your target audience is. And believe you me, there are a lot of content pieces which are by design very boring, because that is how they should be consumed. So if I look at this particular infographic, there used to be, it is a scroll based infographic. On each scroll something happens. So right now I'm scrolling, and things are happening. So it throws some data in each of these screens. So this is another nice way of putting your illustration. And towards the end, when you go, it tells you by the time you were scrolling for the infographic, these many systems have processed. ONTAP has processed these many systems. ONTAP is one of their NetApp's products. So it gives you sort of a live calculator over here. So an interesting way of talking about it. Going back, from infographic, we have demo. Now, this is very interesting. Regalix, was working with one of our partners, one of our clients by the name of VMware. VMware is a Fortune 500 company, and it's been right now part of the Dell EMC ecosystem. And we were talking to the product marketing people and technical marketing people in VMware. And one of the problem statement that came to the front was the low level of adoption of softwares. And once the software is sold, how exactly it should be used. So obviously people try different kind of things wherein they create videos. But video is something, it is auto paced, right? If you want to come back to a particular screen, you want to know that how the particular plugin needs to be installed, and let's say that timestamp is at 1 minute 2 seconds, between 1 minute 5 seconds. You have to come back to it again and again, and try to figure out, because the narrative is auto paced. Regalix realized that we should be talking about something which has controlled content, and which can give screen by screen guidance, as well as, if I'm a product marketing person, what do I require? I want to see, are my sales guys using it, or is the customer using it? So can I get analytics data of how many people have used that particular walkthrough, or how many people have have been to a particular slide? So for example, how many people dropped off after 5 slides or 10 slides, and so on and so forth. Plus, I also want actionables on my screen. So for example, I have hotspots. Can I click on those hotspots and go to the next level? Can I get them on mobile so that I am always on the go? And obviously there could be a lot of other features that I would want. I would want a guide, I would want checklist here, I would want pathfinders. So for example, if I'm finding something, how do I find it? So the system should assist me in finding something. And that is where Regalix came up with a concept called as share demos. Share Demos is a proprietary tool that Regalix owns, and a lot of our clients use it to narrate the complex stories that they have, complex infrastructure, complex technologies. This particular interactive product walkthrough, which I'm going to take you through, just for your understanding, is a series of tutorial for deploying VMware integrated OpenStack. So it's one of the VMware software. This is how you get started. You have screenshots over here of your infrastructure or your software. You click on something, it tells you what to do next. It's very interactive, and you get to know that how exactly you need to move forward. So it's a guided assisted content. And if I want to spend some time on the screen, I would just say, okay, is my screen matching with this screen? I can spend as much time over here to see, how do I do? And once you finish, you just go back, all of those. So it's a good tool, if you are looking for product marketing. All right. Share Demos is a time-saving solution for walkthroughs with bite-sized and searchable content. Regalix is coming up, with a lot of features on Share Demos, wherein you can embed a video also with a walkthrough, and there are other products also on which you can go and put your infographics. It's sort of a storage hub kind of thing. That brings me to the end of this session. Your product information obviously deserves the best. So, if you want to know more about Share Demos or Regalix or the services that we offer, you can reach out to me at gsrivastav@regalixinc.com. While this presentation will also be forwarded to you, but I'll just spell it out: GSRIVASTAVA at Regalix, regalixinc.com. Or you can sign up for free trial at sharedemos.com. Just go to sharedemos.com, sign up for your free trial. You can create your own demos, and you can see how useful they are. Thank you so much. Have a nice day.